All right guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with a new video. Took a little bit of a hiatus on YouTube. Had a lot of other stuff going on. Kind of had to focus on some other stuff. All the amount of clients and stuff that I went to this past year was a lot of emails and phone calls and some other work stuff that I was doing and doing my own stuff, you know, with the new farm and all that stuff. So this month I want to focus on fall food plots, and there's a lot of different techniques and different varieties of seeds that you can plant and they'll all get you good results. And today I just want to go over a brief, checklist that you can kind of look at and say, okay, well, I got to do this, and this when I plant my fall food plot. And we're in the month of August here. I think it's August 8th or 7th. And it's getting that time to plant for majority of, areas where, in the states that we plant food plots in for deer. And the number one thing that you want to look at is obviously you want to follow your soil sample recommendations that you've had, whether you had them in the fall or in the spring. Hopefully you've went ahead and corrected that lime, pH issue, fertility levels if you're planting annuals, you spread that fertilizer. And a lot of times if you correct that soil amendments in the spring with your spring planting, if you're planting annuals, like I said, a lot of times you can use that fertility levels that you've spread, with your fertilizer and stuff. That'll kind of lead you into your fall food plot. So you may not have to add as much, especially if you're planting, like buckwheat or different blends in the spring. It can kind of help build up your soil and bring up those levels a little bit leading into your fall food plot. So obviously want to follow that samples. And if you do get another soil sample before you plant your fall food plot, that's obviously advised to do that as well. That way you have optimal results with fertility levels, and you want in those small plots, you want the most volume and attractiveness you can get, give you the best results. Hopefully, tag a few deer off of there. Next thing is obviously you need to take care of, you want to have a weed control program, whether that's if you're using chemicals, a lot of times you can use chemicals like the first year or something to kind of get majority of the weeds under control. And then after that, if you're planting annuals and you're disking the ground, you really don't need any more chemicals. So a lot of people force chemicals, and I'm not against them. I do use them when needed, but why spend the extra money when you don't really have to? And I just don't really want to mess with this stuff, But there's ways around that. Obviously, we don't want to go into the year with a weedy food plot, because those weeds are dying, leading into your fall. So there's things out there where people will say, well, people are saying weeds are good. Well, yeah, weeds can be good in the summer, but if you plant a food plot in the spring and you're expecting that plot to lead you all the way through into the fall and winter months, it's a huge mistake, because obviously some weeds are going to grow in that. When those weeds die in the fall, then you're left with minimum, plants, and then, you have less of an attractive food plot and you have less volume in that plot. But if you're planting annuals, I've said this for years, if you're planting annuals and you're disking the ground, you don't really need to use chemicals. Like at the farm this year, I'm always transparent with you guys. The first year we got the place, I actually, in the spring, we sprayed the plots. It's always typically the first thing I do the first year is spray. And the reason being is there's just a lot of weeds in there. Use weed seeds. If you can get that first control, controlled the first year, after that, you really don't need them a whole lot. I did plant a overhaul blend in there, which is from Domain Outdoors. And we had a very slow start in the spring and summer with a lack of rain, and it allowed a lot of ragweed to grow back up through. And ragweed is high in protein and moisture and things for deer, and they will eat that for sure during the spring and summer. But I didn't, our plot grew. The plot grew, it's this tall right now, and it had lots of buckwheat in there and some clovers and things within that blend, and it did very well, but it allowed a lot of ragweed in there as well. So I went ahead and I did spray that this summer. I actually sprayed it about a week ago, and it's dying pretty good now. So that's my first year of controlling weeds. This year, or this fall going in here, we're planting brassica blend with some clovers. That way next year, next spring, I don't have to plant a spring and summer food plot. The clover will already be there. I'll probably end up coming through and, you know, slinging some more clover in, frost seeding it, just kind of thickening it up a little bit. But that's our plan there, and that's what we did to control the weeds. Lots of weeds this time of year are going dormant. So if you have a crop of buckwheat and there's very minimal weeds in there, you know, leading into your fall, and you're disking the ground and such, or crimping, whatever you're doing, you don't need to spray to kill that, because the whole point of chemical glyphosate is it dries the plant out. It robs that plant of moisture with the salt content and things. It robs that plant of moisture. So when you disc that whole stem of buckwheat back in the ground, you're allowing that moisture to be there, and you're not robbing it with the glyphosate. That moisture's there to help germinate your new seeds. So kind of as, you know, it'll act as a organic matter set up to where it's holding some moisture in there, and you don't get, you know, tons of runoff when you disc all that back in the ground and things. So it's a very good, you know, benefit not to use them, chemicals, but in times, like I said, you do need them. Another thing too is you have to time your planting and the types of plant you're going to plant this year. And I see a lot of people, it's a huge mistake, is, I don't know where it started, but it's a huge trend on social media where people want those giant brassica bulbs, so they plant their brassicas in like the end of July, mid-July. I've seen in states where you shouldn't be planting until mid to end of July, or August, sorry. And the reason being is I think they see these people with these huge brassica bulbs that's mainly for, you know, promotion for a company or something, and they plant their food plot, they plant it in July, and all of a sudden, you know, come September, October 1st, they got these giant, you know, cantaloupe size turnips and things, and it's like, hey, look at this on social media, I got this huge bulb. Well, what good is it? You're pulling the whole bulb out of the ground and deer aren't really eating it, so it's because it's too mature. So you just have to look at that and time it. You know, typically with brassicas, you want to lean toward the 60-day mark, and that's 60 days before your average first frost. You live in your state, you live in your area, you know best when your average frost is. For us, it's typically around the 20th of October where we're planting. So we're going to be planting here in about 7 or 8, 9 days, somewhere around there we're planting. And that'll be a good timing for our brassicas. If you're planting grains, wheat, oats, rye, you want to lean that toward about 45 days, 40 days before your first frost. That way it's not too mature. You want those plants to go into your hunting season where they're not woody and stemmy, and, you know, where they're still palatable, so they're very attractive. So there's no reason to plant your brassicas in July, even, you know, early August in most states. Like I said, in our area, we're planting them, it'll be I think the 16th, 13th, somewhere around there, 14th, 15th of August, and that'll give us a good, you know, crop leading into our hunting season, because out where we're planting, hunting season starts right around October 1st. So another tip, checklist, you know, thing you can look at is, you know, you got to have rain, guys. You know, you got to look at that forecast. You see some rain coming, you got to get out there and plant. You know, if the seed sits there for a couple days or something, it's not going to hurt anything, but it's sitting there for weeks on end with no rain, you're probably going to have to save it with some wheat, oats, or rye. You know, you broadcast on top of soil when you get a rain, but hopefully you can have that opportunity to where you can look at the, you know, forecast and say, hey, you know, we're getting a lot of days here with percentages of rain, we can go ahead and plant, and hopefully that works out for you. But time it, you know, with your timing, 45 to 60 days before first frost, and also time it when you got some rain coming. And last thing you want to do is check, or when you spread your seed and fertilizer, is if you can spread a couple bags of lime. That's every time I add fertilizer, granular fertilizer, I spread a couple bags of lime with that, because synthetic fertilizer, granular fertilizer, drops your pH. So that's not what you want. So to offset that, you can add that lime to there, also sweeten the plants up and prevent that fertilizer from lowering your pH. And a lot of people don't know that. You know, a lot of times if you buy like triple 19, if you look at that triple 19, you'll see granular pelletized lime mixed with that as well, because it lowers your pH. So I always throw out a couple bags of lime with that, and I'll help you guys leading into your fall plot. Another tip, checklist that I'm going to give you with, it's more of a tip, is stay off of Facebook forums. They will drive you insane. This time of year, I scroll through them forums and I just laugh, because you get so much misinformation on there. You get guys commenting on people that actually truly need help, and you get guys commenting on there that have never planted a single food plot in their entire life, and they're just giving you advice that they've read somewhere or somebody told them with no actual experience. You have to listen to people that actually plant food plots and actually have experience in plants in different states and different regions, so they can give you the best advice. Just try to stay off them social media forums. They will drive you insane. There's so much misinformation on there, and it'll probably lead you down the wrong path, and I don't want that, because I want everybody to have success. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you guys are new, and let me know what you guys been up to in the comments. You know, how's your summer been? How's your spring summer food plots been going? And let me know when your hunting season starts. I'm excited to get that going here. You know, Maryland starts September 7th, I believe, and PA starts October 1st. So we'll be out there. Good luck, guys. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want more information on food plots, soil samples, and habitat management, click this video right here on the screen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new.